have an earlier S550, you may be stuck with a tiny screen, the original My Ford Touch, or a version of Sync 3 before CarPlay was even introduced. Either way, all of the factory options are starting to show their age. No wireless CarPlay, no real app support or customization, and compared to modern cars, that screen feels small, and let's be real, nobody likes a small display. So what if you could swap it out for something bigger, better, and way more functional? That's where this comes in, the AuCar Tesla Style 14.5-inch Android 13 head unit. It promises a full Android experience, wireless CarPlay, and Android Auto with a plug-and-play installation. But is it actually worth your hard-earned cash? We're putting it to the test in this 2018 Mustang. Keep watching for an install, feature walkthrough, and to find out if it's the upgrade your ride deserves. The first step we're going to be doing is removing this trim piece right here, but in order to go ahead and remove this trim piece, we're actually going to start by removing this piece down here. So these are just kept on by clips, so it should be relatively easy. Just make sure you are careful, that way you don't damage the actual trim piece. So as you can see, the reason we took this piece off was because it was actually attached to this piece right here. So now this piece is free, we can go ahead and use equal pressure to remove it. So I have most of this piece removed. I'm just slowly working it with my hands, pulling. I have to be careful right here because this is not just gonna come flying off. There are connections underneath these gauges. So I just wanna go make sure I'm being careful. So now what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and disconnect this connector right here. There you go. So now we're going to be removing this panel piece right here. We're going to be starting with just a flathead screwdriver. And now we can access these two 7mm bolts down here. I'm going to be using a 7mm socket right here to go ahead and remove the bolts down here. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the two 7mm bolts that are on top. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the OEM trim piece right here. Now this is just held in by clips, so I'm just going to be taking my time and working the clips out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and put my left hand underneath these toggle switches and lift up, with the other hand going to be pulling up towards the windshield. And it is now loose, so now we can go ahead and continue our disconnections. So now we're going to be starting with removing the old screen. There are 4 7mm bolts holding this in, 2 on either side. Then we just work on disconnecting all the old connections. So now we're going to be working on plugging in all of the connectors up top. Now all of these connectors are keyed, so they should really only go into one spot, making it super easy. And we're going to be starting with the purple connector right here, which is actually going to go into the first hole on the bottom. Then you find your USB connectors right here. The brown part goes right next to the purple, like that. The next one is actually going to be part of this big harness right here. There's a few connectors on this harness, but I'm looking for the black connector. The black connector is going to go right next to the brown one. There we go. On that same connector, I'm looking for a little white cord, and that's going to go into this little white port right here. And then I'm going to look for the off-white cord right here, and it's going to go right next to the white one. After that, we're going to go with the solid white connector. And then the last connector is this light blue connector for our SIM card.
And now we're going to be working with our different antennas. So we're going to be starting with the GPS antenna. Now this is a different kind of plug. So what you're going to do is you're going to stick it onto the solid or the single gold one right here. And then you're going to twist it to tighten it on there. Now these two are Wi-Fi antennas. So I'm going to go ahead and plug those into the tube right here following that same procedure. So now that we have all of these connections to the back of the actual head unit, these connections have other connections that go to other accessories. Right here we have our door chime speaker. So this allows you to keep your door chime. So I'm going to go ahead. This guy right here went to the purple plug down here. And we're going to go ahead and connect these together. Like that. The next thing we're going to be connecting is this microphone right here. Now this plug goes right onto this harness, which we plugged in earlier. It's a white plug. And you're going to find the black connector, and it should just go right in. This module, we're going to go ahead and plug it into this white connector right here, making sure it goes in the correct way, like that. Now this cord right here allows you to retain your factory sync 3. So we're going to go grab the APIM from the original head unit and transfer it over to our new head unit. So this is the factory head unit right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this blue harness to start. It's just a tab that you push in and then you pull straight up. Now we're going to work on removing the screws that's holding the APIM to the actual head unit. Now that the APIM is unscrewed, before we go ahead and transfer it over to the new head unit, we're actually going to go ahead and plug in this harness right here, because once the APIM is on it, it makes it a little bit more difficult to reach it. So we're going to be taking the side that's like a brown, yellow, green color. I don't know what this color is called, but brown, yellow, or green. And then you're going to go ahead and connect it down to the teal port down here. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to move this just slightly out of the way. And now we can work on transferring over the APIM. So I'm going to be taking this APIM, I'm going to lift it up, and in order for it to fit onto the new head unit, we're actually going to rotate it, bring it back down, making sure all of our holes are lined up. So we're going to be reusing the factory screws, just lining up all of our holes. Now we're going to go ahead and take this connector and plug it right in to the other blue port. There you go. So now we're going to go ahead and plug in our main power cord to the APIM. Now what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that this pull trigger right here is all the way down. Then you're going to go ahead and put it onto the port, and it's going to sit on there just loosely first, and then you're going to pull the trigger back and lock it into place. Now we're going to be dealing with this bracket piece that came in the kit. Now what this is for is you're actually going to go ahead and use factory screws to put it in right here. This creates a place for the bottom clip of the new head unit to clip into. So before we make all of our final connections, I do want to make one note. We had actually disconnected and removed the old CD player. You actually need to retain this if you're going to be using your OEM APIM because of the fact that it has to do with your volume. Without it, the volume didn't work. With it, the volume will work. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start making connections from the actual head unit to the Mustang. I am going to start with the bigger power connectors first. So you're going to connect this like that. Make sure it's secure, pull it, that one is now secured. So now I'm going to be plugging in these power connectors down here to the bottom of this screen. Now once you do this, it does get a little bit tighter, so just make sure you have some support on the head unit itself. There we go, those are in. I'm now going to be connecting this blue harness right here to the top corner up here. The last piece we're going to be connecting is this USB right here. It's going to connect right into this slot. Now we're going to go ahead and install the GPS antenna. Now this does have adhesives on the back, so you just want to try to get this on a place that's not near metal. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to stick it right in here like that. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one of the Wi-Fi antennas. I'm gonna run it underneath this harness right here just to try to keep everything as organized as we can. Now that we have that run, where we're gonna be connecting this to is our adhesive strip is at the top, and we're going to be sticking this back in here like that. So I'm gonna be doing the same thing with the second Wi-Fi antenna right here. Removing the adhesive. And now it is going to go. There we go, like that. So now I'm gonna be running these 3 cords. It's 2 USB and a SIM card adapter. I'm gonna be running it into the glove box. There is my finger sticking out of the hole right there. I'm gonna be running these to the finger where I can go ahead, pull it through to the glove box. Probably gonna have to do it like one at a time. Yeah, there's one. There's 2. And the last one right here. Now I'm just gonna pull it through, and you're gonna see I got 2 out of the 3. Where'd the third one go? There it is. They're all gonna be pulled right into here, so we can tuck it away to be used for later. So we're gonna go ahead and run the microphone. So I'm actually gonna drop this panel right here by the driver's steering wheel just by pulling. It's all just tension clips, just like that. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pass the microphone through right here. There we go. And I'm just gonna kind of try to tidy up some of the extra loose ends. So we had originally placed the speaker onto the back of the actual head unit, and we realized it wasn't gonna work because it was gonna end up hitting a bracket that's in here. So I pulled it off and we pushed it back to right here where it's still close enough, but now it should be out of the way and not cause any issues. So I've readjusted where the speaker was, so now it should fit in. Again, just having to kind of rearrange and move cords as I go. So now I've got it all lined up. So what should happen realistically is I should be able to push it in and the clips will grab it. Now down here, you'll notice that we didn't have to put back in those 2 bolts. That's because we installed the bracket. So now this clip down here is gonna be pushing into the new bracket we installed. So when you go put in your actual head unit, just make sure all of the wires are out of the way so your clips can safely go into where they need to go. It took me a few minutes just because there's so much wiring that it was a little complicated, but we finally did it. So now we're gonna go ahead and bolt up here into place. So now that the screen is fully installed, now we can go ahead and put back our dash piece. Now I'm gonna want to connect the connection first, then I can push it into place, which should be relatively easy. Connection has been made, so now I can push the dash piece back into place. So now we're gonna go ahead and put back in this piece right here. Again, now that we have it all installed, I can go ahead and show you all of the really cool features that we have on this head unit right here. So to start, you can see that this is the actual style of the screen. I personally like it, but it is a tad girly. They do have one other option. So if you go into your apps and you go into settings, and then you go to home page style, you can go ahead and change it back to the classic style, which I will show you what that looks like. When you change the homepage style, it does take a minute to load, but there we go. This is the original homepage style, which I think we're gonna leave it for right now because the other one's, like I said, is a little girly. Now, this is not your Android Auto. This is the actual head unit. If you wanna switch over to your Android Auto or your Apple CarPlay, you would go ahead and click Car Auto, and it's going to connect to your phone, which if you've already paired it, it'll connect. So it'll just take a second. So now this is our Android Auto. We do have the actual Google Maps up here. We have Spotify down here, and we have our temperature right here. By clicking this down here, you do have access to certain apps that you have on your phone, which is nice. Now, if I go back to the main place right here, I can actually go ahead and click on Netflix or YouTube or Disney Plus for my passenger to go ahead and watch. The driver needs to focus on driving, but the passenger can have some entertainment. So let's go ahead and open up YouTube so you guys can see how a video plays on here. Now I can go ahead and make this full screen, brings it down to here, and it tells us how to exit full screen, which is nice. Skipping the ad. So the controls on the steering wheel do work for volume, so I can turn the volume up.
create a safer,
and down. I can also go to the next song by pressing the next button. There we go. Another really cool feature about Android head units is that we can go ahead and split screen. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up Waze, which is a directions app. And then I should be able to go to my previous, and I should be able to split my Netflix on the top. So there it is. And then it says add another app. So I'm going to go over to Waze. And there we go. We have our Waze down below and our Netflix up top. So I can click a video. There it is. Now you might have noticed we did lose the styled toggle switches down at the bottom. Now those switches are actually built into this head unit. We have the mode button, steering wheel button, and traction control off button, and our hazard button is down here. So yes, we lost the cool toggle switches, but all of these still function properly, and honestly, I like the way these feel more. And of course, you did lose the AC controls down here, but we do have them up here. So you can go ahead, you can turn up if you want it higher, like high heat. Then if you're hot, you can go ahead and turn it down, pressing this. You can also change the direction of the airflow. And then you can go ahead and turn up the fan speed and down the fan speed. You could also do those controls on the screen just by touching them. And then you get this whole panel up here and you can decide what it is you want. So how well does it work? One thing I noticed is the volume adjuster being positioned way down at the bottom of the screen makes it practically unreachable while driving. But honestly, this hasn't been an issue since the unit preserves your steering wheel controls. I haven't reached for the on-screen volume since the install, and all your steering wheel controls still work perfectly. Volume, track selection, voice commands, everything functions just like it did with the factory unit. It is worth noting that despite having to keep the factory CD player, you can't access it, but are you seriously still rocking CDs nowadays? It does preserve your factory backup camera easily since it retains the factory Sync 3 module. Speaking of that, despite still being able to access Sync 3 through the app InTouch, I don't see it being that useful. Audio quality is decent. I tried the different presets in the DSP and normal sounded the best, but that could be a limitation of the base factory speakers. The user interface is decent out of the box, though not particularly Mustang specific. Customized options are somewhat limited through the built-in settings, but remember, this is Android and it's running Android 13. So if you're willing to dig into third-party launchers and apps, you can customize almost everything. Now, the default boot logo was generic, so we swapped it for a proper Mustang emblem, which was easy to do by going to Settings, User, and adjusting the boot logo and animation. Overall, this unit delivers on its main promises: a massive screen upgrade, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and a straightforward installation. There are a couple of small quirks, like not being able to connect to both a hotspot and wireless CarPlay or Android Auto at the same time. If you want data and CarPlay, you'll probably need to use the included SIM card tray. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal while driving since you're probably using your phone for navigation and music anyway. And like we mentioned earlier, installing the 14.5-inch screen means saying goodbye to those iconic Mustang toggle switches. If that's a deal breaker for you, AuCar actually offers alternative models that preserve those factory features, so you have nothing to worry about on that front. Are you thinking about installing the screen in your Mustang? Let me know in the comments. And if you're into Fords, whether it's F-150s, Broncos, or Mustangs, be sure to subscribe. We've got plenty more videos on the way. If you want to check out this screen for yourself, it's linked in the description and right here on the screen. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.